I was a businesswoman, now retired, living the dream, bought the farm, had my horses here, built the house, everything was fabulous. Oh, and then dieback happened. And all of a sudden I'm facing the biggest area of bare earth covered with weeds I've ever seen. So I called in some experts and Tim said, let's get you involved in some trials. There are 3 or 4 different products that are not the typical approach to the dieback issue because it's been around for a couple of years. Farmers have tried pesticides, they've tried fertilisers, none of it worked. The dieback was still there, pasture still dead. And I was asked, would I be interested in trialling some products? And I said, yes, I would. And that's how I met Kurt. And I thought, okay, Kurt's another person trying to get me involved in a product. I don't want to just buy product, I want to know it works. So I'll be honest, I gave Kurt a hard time. I said, well, where is the evidence, Kurt? And he said, Lynn, there isn't any. This is a new product in Australia, but it's in 42 countries around the world. So I'll be honest, I was dismissive of the product initially because I couldn't understand it. I didn't know what it was. Then, of course, the big question was cost. How much was it going to cost to treat the soil? Because what scared me was I had to do 3 treatments of the property with the products. So eventually I worked it out and I went to my husband and I said to my husband, it's like this. We have the opportunity with this product to do a trial. We'll be looking at probably a couple of $1,000s to trial it. If I don't trial it, I'm going to be paying that out in horse feed or trying to solve the dieback problem in another way. So I took a leap of faith and I said, okay, let's have a go. So away we go. I trialled the product B on what we call zone 1, and I sat back, and I am not joking, 4 days later I went, oh my goodness, I'm seeing my grass in the middle of our dry patch go green. There's something here. And then I watched it some more, and I had a strip which we hadn't treated in the middle of the trial area, mainly because the plover was nesting there, so we left it alone. We have this brown patch with dieback, doing nothing, surrounded by greenness. And I get on the phone to Kurt and I said, Kurt, I'm impressed. And I was so impressed, I went to my husband and I said, I want to spend the money to do the entire property with Penergetic products. I'm going to jump on board. I'll step off the cliff because I've got no option. Literally, that's how I felt at the time. I had no option but go with Penergetics. I'd researched what had gone in other countries and the amazing results they had. And I thought, even if I get half the results, this is going to be better than what I've got at the moment, which is on all the hill areas, dirt and weeds. So that's what we did. So we're 6 weeks into it. We've spread the product over a period of time, and the best part was I could plan when I put the product out. I knew there was a rain event coming, or not a rain event, but there was going to be probably 30 mil, 25 mil of rain last Saturday. So the weeks before, we were totally organised. We were out putting out all the final P products. We were doing whatever we had to do to get the product out while it was still dry and we could get the equipment on the farm, and then the rain could do its job. Additionally, because we'd been doing the Penergetic products over that 6 weeks, we were able to direct seed without turning up the soil. We just put a little seeder on the back of my ride-on mower and off we went, and we've seeded Rhodes grass. And that's just been the best thing for me because I think now I'm making progress, and you've just got to see the property, see the areas where we've put the Penergetic product down, and results are there for themselves. And I've got to tell you, I think it does make a difference. I can't tell you how, and I'm not a scientist, but I go on what I see is happening to my pasture, what I see is happening to my horses, And that's the other thing, when we put the product out with Pure Spring Water now, it was interesting. The horses have free grazing range in our property. There are no fences restricting where they choose to graze. They avoided the strip we hadn't treated, and they chose to graze where we put out the Penergetic product. And that's how it's remained for the last 6 weeks. I hand threw oats out throughout the whole property to try and outcompete the weeds that come after dieback. I had a reasonable strike, and then of course the oats, as soon as the heat hit, left or died. I'm out there, I've now put out product B and product P that went out, and we had rain, we had 15 mil of rain 10 days ago. Then we had the rain this week, and suddenly I have oats striking throughout the entire property. And I'm absolutely amazed that obviously that oats has just sat there. There was nothing to stimulate it germinating, despite us having rain thoroughly when I was seeding it. It wasn't a lack of moisture that it didn't strike from. I believe my soil was not healthy. I hadn't looked after the soil or corrected what had been exploitive soil practices for decades, and suddenly product B went on, started to help the soil. Then suddenly we've also got product P going on that signals to the plants, and I'm not joking, I'll show you, we've got oats that high after a week, and that's just amazing to me. Yes, I want to combat dieback. I want to try and make where I'm never going to get rid of mealybug. None of us will. It's part of the ecosystem. What I don't want is it out of balance, which is what's happening now. It's here in its thousands munching through my grass roots. I need to bring balance back. I need to revitalise my property, care about the soil, and give it what we need to grow healthy, viable, long-term pasture that gets us through a drought, that gets us through dry periods, gets us through wet periods as well, but still provides the essential minerals for my horses, because that's why I have a farm. And this is all because of Penergetics in terms of, and I give credit to Kurt that he hung with me. He said, Lynn, it's worth trying, you have nothing to lose. Now I'll be interested to see how the property evolves over the next 12, 18 months, but at this point, I've got to tell you, I think we're onto something, and it is Penergetics.